Yeah, there's actually a Huck Finn Donuts not very far from me, maybe about 10, 12 miles away. I know exactly where it's at.
Yeah, that's why I was trying to figure out the stuff. Yeah. Anyway, here we go. Let's bring on here. Wait, well, you've been hearing, actually, I've turned up the wrong pod. You've been hearing the conversation we've been having about Chicago donut shops. I'm Marky Billson. Jerry Bonkowski is with me on the line, NBCSports.com. And amazing. It's finally over. They got all 500 laps in, just took 2 days. And you know what I asked before, and you were a little wary, but I really feel that Kyle Busch is sort of the new, not sort of, he's the new Darrell Waltrip. I mean, he's now won 7 Cup races at Bristol. And why do you think Kyle Busch dominates so at Bristol Motor Speedway, Jerry Bonkowski?
Very, very simple answer. Let's go back to where Kyle Busch cut his racing teeth. The little bull ring out at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And that says it all right there. I mean, he is an absolute master when it comes to short track racing. And, even though Bristol physically is not the same as the bull ring in Las Vegas.
Sure.
But it's still the same concept, though. I mean, in my opinion, if you ask Kyle Busch to name, his top 5 tracks, I'm willing to bet you 3 of them are short tracks. So it's just the way he developed. I mean, he and his brother Kurt, they grew up at Bristol. at the Bull Ring in Las Vegas, and that's why they are such big stars in NASCAR, because they just love racing those short tracks.
Well, people really liking the races on the short tracks, although the attendance, because of the weather and other factors as well, was not conducive to many people seeing the race, at least in person, at BMS yesterday. But I'll tell you, one of the things that I guess I was frustrated about was back on Sunday. I was excited. Ryan Blaney's winning the race. Hey, yeah, some new blood. I was always a fan of Dave Blaney. I know that his family, he's had relatives that play basketball at West Virginia. It seemed like what a great person to now start coming more and more into the forefront. What a great family. His father, who led some laps a few years ago at the Daytona 500, was a great World of Outlaws driver. So, I'm thinking, yeah, this is good. But then he wrecks 1 lap before the stage 1 is completed because the slow pokes in front of him wreck, and he gets caught up in the wreck. My question there is just how disappointing was it? It was disappointing to me that the lead car, maybe the dominant car of the race, couldn't finish.
Well, it's disappointing, but at the same time, to borrow a phrase from Dale Earnhardt Jr., that Bristol, baby.
Yeah.
That's just the inherent racing there that you have there. I mean, it's such a short track, and it's such a tight track that, you're going to wind up eventually catching the lap cars, and, sometimes they get in a wreck, and you have nowhere to go, and you get caught up in that wreck, and it's not of your own doing. So, yeah, it was sad for Blaney because, had the race not been postponed, had he not had the wreck, he very easily could have been one of the challengers for the win yesterday instead of Kyle Busch. But, it is what it is, and that's, like I said, that's Bristol, baby.
Yeah, I guess it's sort of like, to me, eating caviar or black jelly beans or, liver and onions. You like it or you don't, and you think it's a real delicacy or you don't, because I can see the appeal. Oh, wow, you don't know what's going to happen here. Anything can. This is the one racetrack you can have a lap penalty, and it's so what? But at the same time, I start wondering, yeah, Kyle Busch, the dominant driver, but was it the dominant car that won because of Blaney's performance early on? And, historically, people have led Bristol or won Bristol by leading all of the laps. So, that's happened before and such. I gotta ask you, I know that a lot of local sports writers, I was reading their social media and such, I think you saw one of them on Twitter, they've actually gone so far with the sparse crowd, and again, I realize the weather at Bristol, but this wasn't going to sell out. And they started wondering, well, maybe it's time to have one race at every track and just let it go at that. I'm not so sure that I want that, but how much of a concern is the early season attendance of NASCAR to NASCAR right now, Jerry?
Well, obviously the weather, Bristol Motor Speedway and the other tracks, they have no control over that. And, I have to commend Bristol Motor Speedway and the officials there. I know a lot of the folks there in the PR department, that they did the best they could, in under very trying circumstances with the weather. But, you kind of hit on something that I've been a long time proponent of. I think that, we always talk about expansion of the schedule, but we can't because 38 races, 36 regular races, and then the 2 exhibition races, it's just almost impossible to add another race or race track to the schedule. That's why I've always long advocated that maybe we should only have 1 race a year at a certain track, and then, maybe open up the door to maybe other tracks. Like, for example, Road America would be a perfect road course for NASCAR. And they would be, and I think they would do very well in terms of fan attraction. There's other tracks out there that I think that, either are already in existence or could be built that would, benefit from that as well, too. I'm not a big proponent on the 36 races a year. I think that, we could probably cut it maybe to 30 races. It might be a little bit more of a more competitive schedule, if you will, and I think the attendance would pick up as well, too. But, again, fans, even though the economy is getting better, it's still difficult for some fans to go to a lot of tracks. And, the TV networks, both Fox and NBC, do a great job of televising it. So, a lot of times, rather than getting that track experience and, really taking in all the sights and the sounds and smells, all that kind of stuff, fans just decide they're going to watch it on TV. And, it's not the same to not be there. I mean, to be there is the ultimate. But, if you're not there, you get a good, good view of the race on TV as well. So, I really, it's a question that NASCAR's been battling for the last, 10 years probably. A lot of other sports are having issues with attendance as well, too. I mean, look at the IndyCar race at Phoenix. I mean, the attendance there was really bad. But, the point is that if you do go to a racetrack and you do watch a race, you get a good experience. It's just that it's just difficult sometimes for folks to do that.
Well, Jerry, I've got a minute before my next break coming up here. So before I ask you any more questions, the next one I'm going to ask is, can you stay on through a 2.5-minute break and then talk a little bit more about what happened at the Food City 500? I got to tell you, my own opinion, Jerry, was that this race started off just, I didn't like it that Ryan Blaney was knocked out early. I was like, oh my good, it's like a sports team, a football team losing their star quarterback almost. I was like, this, and all the delays. And although I do agree, I don't know what else Bristol could have done. You couldn't move it up a day. I mean, come on, it's going to interfere with the Fox primetime schedule. They're not going to want that. So, what else could have happened? Postpone it to Tuesday? Then what do you do to all the people who were coming in from out of town? Eventually you got to go to work. So yeah, it was difficult, but I think the best thing that could have happened did happen in terms of dealing with the weather. I'll talk to you more about the race after this.